Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Russia is once again making headlines around the world as shocking developments unfold in Moscow and across several major cities. Reports confirm that President Vladimir Putin has ordered a near-total internet shutdown, leaving millions of citizens digitally stranded and the world questioning what's really happening inside Russia. The sudden blackout has sent shockwaves through the country, disrupting communication, paralyzing businesses, and raising fears that the government is tightening its grip on every aspect of civilian life. From the outside, it looks like an attempt to seal Russia off from the world, creating a new kind of digital Iron Curtain. But inside, the effects are far more complex and devastating. The first signs of this shutdown began late at night, when Moscow residents started noticing strange disruptions to their mobile networks. Websites loaded slowly, messaging apps crashed repeatedly, and soon even basic online searches became impossible. Within hours, large parts of the capital were cut off completely from global networks. State media was quick to claim that the outage was temporary and caused by foreign cyber interference. But cybersecurity experts quickly dismissed those claims, pointing instead to the Kremlin's deliberate activation of the Sovereign Internet program. This system, long in the making, gives the government absolute control over internet traffic within Russia. Every piece of data passes through state-controlled servers, allowing the authorities to monitor, block, or shut down connections at will. The idea was framed as protection against external threats, but now it's being used to suppress internal dissent. Inside the country, the impact is chaotic. Small businesses relying on online payments can no longer process transactions. Families are struggling to reach loved ones in other regions. News from abroad has disappeared, replaced with a steady stream of government-approved information. In cafes and offices, people are whispering instead of texting, sharing USB drives loaded with news reports and videos smuggled from outside sources. It feels like a digital blackout has thrown Russia back decades, to a time when information traveled by word of mouth and propaganda ruled the airwaves. For younger Russians, who have grown up in an era of social media and global connectivity, this sudden silence is suffocating. For older generations, it's an eerie return to the isolation of the Soviet years. On the surface, the government insists that the shutdown is temporary and meant to protect national security. Officials claim that cyber attacks from Western countries have targeted Russia's infrastructure and that disconnecting from the global network is a defensive measure. But behind these statements lies a more strategic move. Over the past few months, Russia has faced growing unrest as economic hardships deepen, sanctions bite, and public frustration mounts. Protests have erupted in several cities, demanding transparency and reform. By cutting off internet access, the Kremlin effectively disrupts the ability of citizens to organize, communicate, or share evidence of police crackdowns. The blackout is not just a technical action. It's a political weapon aimed at silence. Technically speaking, the infrastructure enabling this shutdown is part of Russia's long-term plan to build a fully autonomous digital environment. The RUNT, as it's called, is designed to allow Russia to operate independently from the global internet. It's a massive state-controlled network that routes all online traffic through central data hubs. This setup gives the government the ability to flip a virtual switch and isolate the nation whenever it chooses. Experts have warned for years that this could lead to a situation exactly like the one unfolding now. The system's performance, however, is far from smooth. Despite the government's claims of control, the shutdown has triggered a cascade of failures across essential services. Banking systems are malfunctioning, transport networks are delayed, and even parts of government communication have been unintentionally disrupted. The digital infrastructure is buckling under its own restrictions. The safety implications of this decision are deeply concerning. Hospitals depend on internet-based systems for patient records, prescriptions, and emergency communication. Without reliable connectivity, response times are slowing, and critical data is being lost. Emergency hotlines are overloaded, and confusion spreads quickly as people are unable to verify information or reach authorities. In many ways, this internet shutdown is not protecting the nation. It's endangering it. The supposed safety measure has instead created widespread insecurity, both online and offline. Within this crisis, what makes Russia's move unique is its scale and precision. While other governments have censored websites or restricted access to certain platforms, no modern country of Russia's size has ever attempted a total shutdown of this magnitude. It demonstrates not only the extent of the Kremlin's control, but also its readiness to use technology as an instrument of authority. Putin's government has built a digital fortress, one that allows it to decide who gets to speak and who remains silent. Yet even in this tightly controlled environment, defiance persists. Across Russia, tech-savvy citizens are fighting back. Some are using satellite-based internet systems, others are creating mesh networks, small offline systems that connect computers directly to one another. Information still finds its way through, proving that even the most sophisticated control mechanisms cannot fully silence human curiosity and the desire for truth. The cost of this shutdown, however, is staggering. Economically, the losses are mounting by the hour. Online markets have frozen, international companies have suspended operations, and Russia's digital economy, already weakened by sanctions, is bleeding revenue. Foreign investors see the blackout as a sign of instability and are withdrawing funds. Small businesses that depend on digital advertising or online orders are collapsing. Even state-owned enterprises are feeling the strain as internal communication networks become unreliable. The economic price is enormous, but the social price is even greater. Millions of people now live in a world where their digital rights have vanished overnight. The internet, once a space for connection, has become a memory of freedom. Inside homes, frustration grows. Parents can't help their children access online education. University students can't reach international databases or attend remote lectures. Artists, journalists, and entrepreneurs, people who rely on global interaction, are suddenly isolated. For many, it feels as if the world has shrunk overnight, with invisible walls cutting them off from opportunity, information, and hope. Yet despite the fear, there's a quiet sense of resistance building. Underground networks are forming. People are exchanging information through encrypted flash drives and handwritten notes. In the face of total control, creativity becomes an act of rebellion. On the international stage, the reaction has been swift. Western nations have condemned the shutdown, calling it a blatant violation of human rights. Tech companies are scrambling to find ways to restore limited access through satellite links and encrypted networks. Humanitarian organizations are warning that the blackout could worsen the country's economic and political crisis, leading to more unrest. But the Kremlin remains defiant, dismissing criticism as interference and insisting that Russia's sovereignty includes the right to control its digital space. In Putin's view, the internet is not a tool for freedom. It's a battlefield, and whoever controls it controls the narrative. The consequences of this digital isolation will last far beyond the immediate crisis. A country disconnected from the global web cannot grow, cannot innovate, and cannot compete. The youth, who once saw the internet as a window to the world, are being forced to live behind a wall of censorship. In the long term, this will not only damage Russia's economy, but also its identity as a modern nation. Information is power, and by cutting off that power, the government may be weakening the very foundation it seeks to protect. Yet in every blackout, there are sparks of light. The human spirit's desire to communicate, to share, and to connect cannot be fully erased. The more the government tightens control, the more people find new paths around it. Whether through hidden networks, satellite links, or sheer determination, Russians are finding ways to keep their voices alive. What's happening now in Moscow and beyond is not just a story about technology. It's a story about control, resistance, and the unbreakable link between information and freedom. The internet shutdown in Moscow marks a turning point in Russia's modern history. It is a symbol of how far a government will go to maintain dominance, even if it means disconnecting its own people from the world. But it also reveals something deeper, that even in silence, truth persists. The blackout may dim the lights for now, but history shows that no wall, physical or digital, can stand forever. The people of Russia are living through a moment of darkness, yet within that darkness lies the beginning of something the government cannot fully suppress. The awakening of awareness, the resilience of communication, and the quiet rebellion of those who refuse to be cut off from the world.